It's unhealthy to obsess about disaster, about violence, about the things that could happen to you. But it can be downright fatal to refuse to think about it at all. And that's why I try to share habits and strategies and things you can do to keep yourself safe and defend yourself if you have to. You don't have to obsess about it, but think about it once in a while. Do a little bit of planning, a little bit of preparation, a little bit of training, and that can go a long ways to keeping you safe so you can enjoy life. Today, we're going to talk about a simple little self-defense technique that you should know, and hopefully you practice a little bit because it could help you if you're ever attacked and have to defend yourself. And it's the hammer fist. Welcome to Coffee with Alain. Appreciate everybody that joins up, says hello. Sort of wearing a bright red shirt, and I have a bright, shiny Disney Mickey cup. You can see the little Mickeys on there this morning because I just wanted to be bright today on this fantastic, fabulous Friday. Before we get started with the hammer fist, if you have not signed up, go to enjoylifesafely.com, sign up. You'll get your free guide to awareness, the awareness videos, the 25 safety and self-defense tips ebook. You get all that stuff right away free, but you'll be signed up for the newsletters that are going to start up in July. Tomorrow's July, so I'm going to be starting them up real soon. Probably the following week after the 4th, the first issue will go out. Going to be about safety, self-defense, martial arts, success, communication. The things that I am passionate about are going to be included in this newsletter. So sign up right now. The hammer fist strike. It's one of the simplest and most basic of our striking techniques. And it's one of the things that I always teach when I do short-term safety, self-defense, and active shooter response programs for people. If you join my Hapkido class and go up through the belt ranks, you're going to learn a lot of different striking techniques. But if you're in one of the short programs, I only teach a couple things, and the hammer strike is one of them. Before I talk about what the hammer strike is, I'm going to say good morning to Dixon. Dixon says, little known fact, this technique developed by none other than Mike Hammer. All right, Dixon. And good morning, Kellen. Appreciate you being here. So the hammer fist is very simple. We make a fist, but instead of punching something with our knuckles, which can break knuckles and injure a hand, even a trained fighter with gloves can sometimes break knuckles and injure a hand. An untrained person, especially maybe somebody with smaller hands, not trained, tries to punch something hard like somebody's head, can have hand injuries, happens all the time. So rather than punch something with those knuckles, the hammer fist, we're going to use that bottom of the hand where we're going to hit like this. Okay, I go out to any brick wall without hurting yourself. See how hard you can hit it with your knuckles versus how hard you can hit it here. Much harder here without hurting your hand. Okay, so we need to learn this basic technique. Steven says, love it. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate that. So we're using the bottom of the hand, just like if you're pounding on a table. But now when we're doing this technique, we're not going, we're trying to hammer this guy from way back here. It's more of an in-close type technique where you're doing these short, powerful hammer strikes, and we're going to cycle them. It's not that you hit them once and you stop. We're here and we're going to cycle it and just start smashing the heck out of the guy's face. Okay, because what we're doing is we're trying to shut him down. This isn't schoolyard fighting and stuff. This is survival. And if the guy is on top of you, just shutting him down and just hit him as hard as you can with that hammer fist can be an effective way to stop him so you can then escape and get to safety. Now, I also like teaching this technique because you can enhance this technique by holding something. You ever had a tactical pin? Now, what is that hammer fist going to be like? smashing that pin into the person. And you don't have to have a fancy metal tactical pen like they sell. You can have a sturdy Bic. You can have a number 2 pencil. Remember the legend of John Wick? In the first movie, they're like, he killed 3 with a pencil. And then in the next movie, he actually killed some people with a pencil again. So anything in your hand like that can be effective. We talked a little bit a few weeks ago about Phil Elmore's book, Flashlight Fighting. Good little book. Flashlight fighting. You have that light in your hand. You got these, new metal small lights. There's a million of them on the market, all different prices. But you can just use that, and you start smashing that metal end into the guy's face. Right? And it doesn't matter. You can have different size flashlights. You can turn it on, blind him, and then hit him. Right? And so that can be used as a weapon, and that hammer strike technique works with whatever you're holding. Going to say hello to Stephen again. Main thing is don't fight like a John Wayne. You will break your hand bones. Exactly. The old punching people, it's not the most effective. Now, if you're a trained fighter with boxing punches, they can be extremely effective. Don't get me wrong. Boxer in a real fight can do a lot of damage, but there is still the chance of breaking the hand. Remember, Mike Tyson broke his hand in a street fight before. So, trained boxer, heavyweight champion of the world, one of the best at the time. If some people put him as one of the best ever, he still broke his hand in a street fight. I don't want you breaking your hand, and the hammer fist is going to be safer. I teach Reflex Protect, defensive spray. Now, some people you'll see online, they spray it with their finger like that. That's not a good way to hold the can. In all of my classes and training, I have people hold it tight, and you use your thumb in there to spray. But if I started to spray and the guy ducked his head and took the whole spray on the top of his head and I didn't get it in his eyes, and he comes rushing me, I got my left hand, but then I got that can. I can smash him with that can, push him off. Then when his head comes back up, then we could spray him again and get it in the eyes. But by holding it with this way, that same hammer fist strike you can use when you have the Reflex Protect can in your hand, or pepper spray or anything else you have in your hand like that can turn into a weapon. There's a plethora of pocket sticks out there, and maybe I'll do a whole episode maybe next week on pocket sticks. But a lot of the use of pocket sticks is the same with a hammer fist type strike. And a hammer fist can be most powerful this way, but you can hit somebody like that too in some different type of angles, just however you want to train with it. But that's why I always teach Reflex Protect. Use the thumb. You got a sturdier grip on the can, and you can use it as an impact weapon with that hammer fist strike. So if you don't practice martial arts or combatives or any kind of self-defense, and you want to incorporate some self-defense into your training, which I believe everyone should, you don't have to practice and become a black belt and study for years like I have, like Dixon has, like Steven has. We're all martial artists for life. It's in us, and we're going to do it till we die. You don't have to if that's not part of you. But learning a few basic techniques and ways to save yourself if you're ever attacked and have to physically defend yourself is just smart. And it's prudent in today's world. The hammer fist strike is one of those that you should learn. You should practice. If you can go to a gym with a heavy bag and hit it some, or if they have a bob, that's one of the mannequins that looks like a person, and so you can actually practice smashing the face, do so. Obviously, don't take a knife to your head or a tactical pin or anything to your heavy bag or to bob. Just use your hand. But when the technique is down and you have it solid, you can transfer it to a pen, to a can of defensive spray, to a flashlight, to a pocket stick, to anything that you could hold in your hand that could enhance that strike and make it worse. So that's the technique. Very simple to execute, very effective in the right situations, and it's one of the basics that everybody should include in their self-defense training. Steven says, great point on spraying. Yes, and I see a lot of the pictures and people spraying like this, and it will work. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're attacked and you spray like this and the attacker stops, wonderful, you're safe. Whenever I teach a defensive spray class, I prefer to hold it this way and use my thumb because I have better grip on the can if the person rushes, and I can use it as a weapon if I need an impact weapon, if I need to, not just a spray. Where here, you're not going to be able to hit like this near as effectively, and it could be knocked out of your hand a little easier depending on the size of your hand and stuff. I have fairly big hands, so even with the finger, I'm holding it fairly secure, but not as secure as this. This is going to really be tough to knock out of your hand, and you can use it. So that's my preferred way and how I teach people to use a defensive spray. And it works with this size can. It works with the longer can. Now you just got a little more sticking out to hit them with. So that's the lesson today. Just wanted to give a self-defense lesson. Hadn't really talked about self-defense and defending yourself physically for a while. And I like to include those with this program. Practice the hammer fist strike and use it as a tool if you ever need to. Because remember, it's unhealthy to obsess about it, but it can be downright fatal to never think about defending yourself and having a little preparation and training to do so. Have a fantastic, fabulous Friday. We'll see you tomorrow when we talk about a few books. Thank you, everybody, for joining in the comments. I appreciate that. Share this video around. Share the podcast around. John says good tips. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, do so. They're starting up in July. July's tomorrow, so probably in the following week, the first newsletter will go out with a lot of things to help you enjoy life safely. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.